We're gonna play a new song tonight, actually.
You are?
Yeah. So.
What's it called?
It's called Kids in the Fog.
Okay. What's it about?
Lyrically, at least,
Yeah.
it was there was a girl that I really liked, and she didn't dig me. She was kind of playing me a little bit, and it like stung. You know what I mean? And I hadn't felt that sting in a long time, and but I kind of liked it a little bit, and it just kind of brought me back a little bit. You know, I think a little bit of pain kind of, I think without it, you just kind of drift along, and with it, it kind of brings you back to reality, and it kind of keeps you really sharp, and so I kind of had this like 20% like wasabi burn in me. It wasn't like over the top heartbreak, but it was just enough to like keep me sharp, and it was easy to turn that into a little bit of anger towards her, and just enough to write some biting kind of, you know, kind of edgier lyrics, and it just fit the tone of the song I was working on at the time. So it's kind of like a thank you note to her for, you know, for messing me up a little bit.
Sorry, I'm late.
Please don't say sorry. Thank you for coming.
Oh, thank you. Oh wow, look at that.
Yeah.
That's great.
Thank you.
Now don't open that.
And this was a kind of like, got what you asked for type thing, and how to turn it into something positive, I guess. I mean, I give advice to a lot of to people that write into my website and stuff, often on matters like this, and it's kind of easy to sit back when you're living semi-comfortably and to, you know, suggest that, well, you know, instead of cutting yourself, why don't you just write poetry? You know, it's easy to say that. This is the first time in a long time where I can kind of put that theory into practice, and, you know, rather than running from something that's bugging you or drinking or, you know, masking it, and, you know, turning it into something creative.
We're treating it almost like a rebirth. All of us had times to live our own lives. It kind of gives you some perspective of like what you want to do, and also really the love of music and why you're doing it in the first place.
There's a little tiny like bit in your brain where it's like when you're doing something that you really feel, you know, is powerful musically and everything. That's probably just about the most exciting thing that there is. So it's sometimes you gotta hunt it down. You know, it doesn't come easy.
There's going to be some aspects of it that are the heaviest thing that we've ever done, and I don't mean like in like a metal way.
Yeah.
More of just really, you know, intense grooves and power. I think that Matt's, you know, just what he's experienced in the last couple of years. You know, I think he has a lot to say, and
I've lived my entire life to fight the tendency to plateau in any way, so I'm always pushing in my private life to do things that challenge me and to keep things interesting, keep me, you know, push through things that scare me and things like that. So you try to lead an interesting life, and that's kind of, we've all been doing that, you know. So I'm excited to put that into, you know, for that to materialize in sonic form. I think it's gonna be, you know, it's gonna be a blast to get back in the studio.
What types of things, because this is going to play into what you do as well.
yeah.
And you can be honest, right?
I love this.
Suppressing. All day I suppress my basic instincts.
Sounds quite healthy.
Well, I wake up with them, you know. I was thinking about this. You know, I live right across from this gigantic field. You know, there's this gigantic field, and I woke up one day and I'm like, you know, it'd be the perfect job for me if this field were just filled with people, and I had a machete and I just walked through the field, packing away all day long.
You get paid.
And I get paid for that. Yeah. And you know, ideally, it's not really to hurt somebody.
Yep, that's what I thought was going through.
Yeah, I would have said that exact thing for Dan too.
Yeah.
Oh man.
That's how you think about
Like you want to be in The Walking Dead, like you just want to like all zombies and just kill them all.
But
yeah.
It's physical. You get exercise.
Yeah.
You're outdoors.
yeah, get a nice tan.
There's a but.
You're around people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Temporarily, but at the end of the day, you get this really satisfied feeling that you really made a difference.
Yeah.
That they'll remember you.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Next.
All right. Well, how can I go from there? How do I top that?
Greg wants to clean up all the bodies that
Yeah.
Oh, really?
God, I don't know. I mean, you wake up hoping that the next day is going to be better than the next, and the only way that's possible is if you make it that way. And so that's a challenge when you're caught in a certain rhythm and cycle, and there's definitely always things around you that give you self-doubt, and it's even like social networking stuff like Facebook and Twitter. It's like going on that, like being on this tour and being away from it for 3 weeks, it actually put me in a better place. And when you're on those things and you're seeing like everyone's like basically just talking about how great their lives are and stuff, and then you kind of forget like how great yours is at sometimes, and I think about music every day. I mean, like that when I wake up, when I go to bed, it's like almost all music.
Yeah, no, I kind of agree with Dan. I kind of feel the same. We're, I don't know what you'd call it, hyper imaginative, hyper self-aware. So you're constantly overthinking. You're evaluating your life as it's happening. So in a lot of different contexts that are overlapping. So for me it is a daily decision which instincts to suppress and which to indulge. I think that's my life in a nutshell. Which things which boundaries should I be pushing, which ones should I be leaving alone? If you're asking where we are mentally and how that's going to inform the next record, then I think that's, I'm not sure if you'll hear machete work in the guitars on the next record, but you probably will, there's something to exactly what he said that will kind of inform the choices that we make musically, because I think it is like a fight for your own existence. I think it is like a fight for purpose. I guess it's also fighting the urge to be lazy, because that's just in my blood. I think I think I was always meant to be rich, and I'm not.
I can definitely vouch for that.
And so I think I just was meant to just sit around and judge people and drink wine all day. And so sometimes I do that, but I haven't earned it yet. So I'm fighting that as well. There's something to the fact that when we rehearse in Chicago, we still rehearse in the same tiny space in the back of Greg's loft that we did when we began. And coming back from a tour where you've played in front of thousands of people and you've done great press and you've seen your posters and magazines, and then you're still bruising your shins carrying an amp up like 3 flights of stairs, is something that keeps it real when you do that. And this is a perfect time for you to ask that question, actually, because we're all kind of figuring it out for ourselves right now.
As far as what I think about with this band is, I'm just really glad that I got to meet and play with other people that I get along with so well, and that share a lot of the same views as me, and that includes killing people with machete. I mean, I consider myself
to be fair, Elias's day is much shorter than the rest of ours.
Yeah, true.
He sleeps about 19 hours.
I try to sleep about as much as I can. Even though I'm very happy and I get along with everybody, I'm not a mean person. Just the stuff that goes on in my head is pretty weird. And
it's from Phoenix.
Dan is on top of it.
I'm white bread.
Yeah.
I love it.
Dan's white bread.
I really do.
You know what? Here, I'll say this. Music. I think about music a lot and playing drums. Really, I have patterns of stuff going through my head at all times of thinking of, things like right, left, kick, just patterns that I want to work out on a drum set. That's what I'm always thinking about as well.
That's true.
That's
And what's the puzzle game?
Oh, and I play Sudoku. Sudoku. I play at least like six games of that. So I try to play drums all day long. if we're not on tour, I'm playing drums all day.
And that mathematical thing, next album's going to be absolute.
Oh, great.
Thank you.
You got
Well, thank you
fired
so
up.
much.
Normally.